Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the CEW podcast. We are here once again with the final podcast of the year. Now I don't know when this is going to drop, whether it will be before or after Christmas and what's going to be released around it. I don't know. We got a lot of things being worked on at this moment, so it could literally be anything that comes out. Yeah, I'll kind of briefly go over what we could be seeing between sort of the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023. Just very quickly for you. So this will probably be out after Explosion Episode 3. Now, what that means going forward is that we might have Mayhem Episode 4 ready. I don't know. We might have Explosion Episode 4 ready. Again, I don't know. We will probably have by this point when this video is uploaded, the end of year awards will officially be closed and I will be preparing to get that video ready for the end of the year. When it will be dropped, I don't know. It will probably be in sort of that sweet spot in between Christmas and New Year, maybe in the beginning of January. I don't know yet. There's also EPW Sacrifice. Keep an eye on the community tab because I will be revealing the card for that on the community tab because that's just the easiest way to do it. I will just say, if you want to know what's going on with EPW's weekly shows, the Discord is the place to be. I will try and leave a link in the description to that because I try to every time I promote the Discord. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If it's not in there, just ask me for it if you want to join the Discord. It's very simple. It's just click a button. You only really even need to be active in it. But it just helps if you want to stay up to date with what's going on with EPW because the weekly shows are written and posted on the Discord. So that's kind of everything you need to know for this month. I'm going to try not waste too much of your time because I know that December is a pretty chaotic month. Before, well, I might as well just say how I'm doing, I guess. I'm doing alright. College/university stuff, because basically I'm doing university stuff at college because, you know, it's just easier. That kind of stuff, it's slowing down and picking up at the same time. I'm finishing off certain units and more units are coming in slowly. It's a tricky thing to balance, but I think once we get to the certain segment of this podcast, you'll understand why I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say at that point. You probably already know it by the title of the video, which is the future plans for CEW in the new year. So basically it'll just be CEW plans for 2023. But yeah, that's it, and now we're going to move on to the first segment of the podcast. And now we are talking about something that a lot of viewers who used to watch on the Byronite channel, you guys will know this. It is something that was very near and dear to my heart when I first started doing core stuff. Dragon City Wrestling, or DCW. And I don't know why I've been thinking about it recently, I just have. You know, I think it's because I've done MUW, I've done EPW, you know, I brought back Extra for a while, the Academy was a thing, and obviously CEW's been a thing, and I feel like it's probably just nostalgia for me, because, you know, this happened 2 to 3 years ago, I'd say. I think it started very early on in CEW's cycle. I wanted to create like a quote-unquote partner company / second show that I would stream back on the Byronite channel. Thus the birth of DCW Dragon City Wrestling. And it gave a home to a lot of guys who weren't being used on CEW, most notably the man that you guys know as Shane Torres. Basically really got over on DCW, and that's why he's back on CEW. I'm not even joking, that's the whole thing. Kenito Suzuki, back when he was a ninja, that was his home. He almost got a world title shot, but the briefcase got stolen from him. Very long story, that. But you're probably wondering, why am I talking about it? And I'll keep it real with you. The reason why I wanted to include Dragon City Wrestling is because for a small bit of time, I thought about bringing it back in some sort of format, whether it's just you see it randomly on episodes of CEW, i.e. belts getting defended on DCW, or if I was going to bring it back as like a full-blown Discord exclusive show, or kind of like the MUW style, where it was like pay-per-view highlights, and then that was it, really. But unfortunately, 2K22 just won't let me make any more calls, so unfortunately, I was not able to make the roster that I wanted to make for it. There are still some people who I was able to make, and, you know, they are doing stuff wherever they can. Most notably, Caleb Clark was originally made for DCW, but then everything happened, and then I decided I was just going to move him over to CEW, because I think he's just got a cool gimmick about him. So I didn't want him to go to waste. But yeah, like, you know, unfortunately, 2K being what it is prevented me from bringing it back. But in a way, I would kind of consider it a blessing, because I would then have to juggle CEW, EPW, and DCW. And I'm just one man. I don't have a team helping me. And I feel like doing 3 companies is probably just too much. No matter what format I do that in, I feel like it's just a bit too much. And I feel like it's a bit too much for you guys. Because, like, I know you guys are interested in the EPW stuff. And, like, I do want to try and find a way at some point to make sure that the weekly episodes of EPW are kind of presented to you guys in a way. I might start posting the results of them on the community tab. That might be the play, actually. So if you're watching here and, you know, you think that's a good idea, let me know in the comments if I should start posting the results to the weekly EPW shows on the community tab. Because I think that is probably the easiest way for me to A, use the community tab more, and B, actually show you guys what's happening on EPW. I think that might be the play. I just don't know how I'm going to do that yet. We'll have to see. But yeah, just let me know if you're interested in that. But yeah, Dragon City Wrestling, will it ever come back? Maybe. Might I just do what I was planning on doing with DCW for CEW? Probably. Because I had a really interesting idea for it, which I'm not gonna say, because there's no point getting you guys hyped up for it, because unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna happen anymore, which it's a shame, but it's, you know, it's something that happens, and it's something that I've just gotta accept. But you know, it was fun coming up with some ideas for it. I even had like the logo, the belts, and all of that stuff ready to go, but unfortunately, I just couldn't make any calls on 2K22. So yeah, that's just unfortunate. But yeah, that was some core talk. That was Dragon City Wrestling, and we got a slightly shorter format this week, because we're going to move on to our final thing. No Wrestler of the Month for November, because we only really got one show out, I think, in November. So it's not really a lot I can say about that, unfortunately. So we are just going to move on to the final part of the show. And that is the CEW plans in 2023. Now, this is just off the top of my head. I've not got everything I'm going to do next year planned. And, well, kind of, but I don't want to tell you guys everything. Because if I tell you everything, you're going to see things coming from a mile away. I'll tell you some of the big things, I guess. I'm not sticking to a schedule anymore. You know, I have been uploading content weekly, or as frequently as as close to weekly as I possibly can, and whilst it's a cool thing, whilst it's something that I do enjoy doing, because I like making stuff and all of that, it's not fair on me, as someone who's, you know, like I said, I'm a one-man team, as someone who is, you know, also trying to get their diploma at the same time. It's a tricky process, but it also just means I can fine-tune everything in an episode, because I think episode 2, with all of the audio issues and everything like that, made me realize that I need to be way more tentative about what I'm putting out. as opposed to just getting things out. You know, I've gotta give people the chance to do their best work, because whilst I'm a one-man team, I still ask people for promos, etc., because I feel like that's the best way that they can get their characters across. I think I've just learned over the past couple months after Kingdom of Glory that this is a hobby. It's not a job. You shouldn't force yourself to do deadlines. You shouldn't force other people to get stuff done on deadlines either. And once I learned that, or like once I like started to realize that, I just became way happier with what I've actually gotten out. And I'm way more, I would say way more happier with the content that I'm putting out. Like episode 3 of Mayhem, because I'm recording this before Explosion's out, but after episode 3's aired. I loved episode 3 with an absolute passion. I called it one of the most stacked shows in CEW's CEW Mayhem. I would say it's one of the most stacked weekly shows in CEW's history. I really liked that episode, and I was able to take a step back every now and then because of how long it took to just tweak things, to just maybe take something out, change something, do something different, maybe not use this, maybe instead use that, and I was able to make that really good. So I think for 2023, things will be done when they're done. I've said this for ages, but now I think I truly mean it. When things are ready, things will be out, and that's just how it's gonna be from now on. You might see that things might get a little bit quicker once we get nearer to the pay-per-view, then slow down once we actually get to the point where it's just the pay-per-view that needs uploading. But that is just going to be how it's going to be. It's kind of a bit of a culture shock from what you're used to, I reckon. But, you know what, it is what it is, and, you know what, it be what it be. So that's the big thing there. One major thing I want to do, and I'm planning it as we speak, I want to do an all-women's pay-per-view / super show. I do. I've wanted to do this for ages. And in the same vein as I want to do a tag team super show at some point, I want to breathe new life into those divisions, and that's something that I've been trying to do since after Kingdom of Glory. The women's division, I think, is fantastic. I do pride myself on having a very, very good women's division. And whilst I can't use everyone to their full effectiveness all the time, that's just how wrestling is. You know, it be what it be. But I feel like the women that I have on my roster and the characters that I've made and the characters that I've had be brought into CEW, I think we have a very strong women's division. And I think in 2023 you're going to see that. You know, I've prided myself on having the Women's World Championship main event a lot of shows. And I don't see that going away. I see that continuing, and I think it will eventually come to a case of the best story for the world, whichever world title is going to main event a show. That's just how it's going to be. When will this women's pay-per-view / super show be? I will just say it now. It will be in between Fight Forever and Invictus. Whenever that happens, that will be when it is. Because that is where I'm planning it. That's where I'm planning most of my feuds. And put it this way, we already have 4 to 5 matches planned out for that women's show. I think the goal might be, as long as I'm not overdoing it, would be to have maybe 6 or 7 matches. I don't know yet, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. I want to try and experiment outside of the core show format. This isn't to say that I'm going to be doing, like, whole new content. It's still going to be CEW and EPW related. But I want to try and, you know, with, like, the Trick or Street fight, just that one match every now and then. I kind of want to do some of those, because then it gives me time to work on the episodes of Mayhem and Explosion. Obviously, I will plan them around what I'm doing on certain episodes. But, I think that way then I'm still getting content in a way out. I'm still editing. I'm still getting storylines developed, because they will be storyline based as well, a lot of these matches and like a lot of these like videos that you're going to be seeing, hopefully. But I think it's just, I want to try and see if I can sell more stuff without having to put it into an hour and a half video. And I will say, there is probably going to come a time after Invictus where, if I'm really feeling it, the hour and a half show format just going to go away. And I think I'm just going to do I'm going to try and approach Core and CEW in a different way. Because I think, whilst it's cool to follow the trend of other Core shows and do all of that stuff and do the long shows, not to say that you won't have long shows, pay-per-views will still be full-blown pay-per-views. I just do not see in my future there being time to get an hour and a half show done. And as much, I know a lot of you guys enjoy watching the longer shows. I know that. And I appreciate that. But I feel like maybe trying to go for, you know, even if I'm able to lower it down to like a couple 45-minute shows, I feel like that's probably better. I don't know. It's something I'm still working around, and I don't know if it's going to be a definite, but I definitely want to try and experiment with it, because, you know, I mentioned it last month with the whole Our show's too long, and personally, I think it depends, which what I said last time, but I do believe that there has to be some sort of change, I think, with CEW. Like, I enjoy doing the shows, like I said. I enjoy doing the long-form shows. But if I feel like I can get more out to you by doing shorter form, then that might be the play. I don't know. Again, it's just spitballing right now. Until I say anything concrete, or until you actually start seeing all of that content, don't worry too much about it just yet, and I promise you that it will not be a case of quantity over quality. It will be quality over quantity. When something is done and done to a high standard, it will be released. And I think that's going to be what you're going to be seeing in 2023, is when something is ready, it is good to go. But it's not good to go until it's ready. If that makes sense. So, I feel like I've rambled for long enough. I think I'm going to let you guys enjoy your Decembers. I just want to say, because I'm probably going to reiterate this in the end of your awards show anyway, thank you all for tuning in to the CEW network over the past year, whether you've been here since, like, the first episode we dropped in 2022, which was, I think it was, Retro episode 25, I believe, of CEW. I think before that we did the EPW Rumble, but I'm not sure. Speaking of Rumbles, we will see. We will see. I don't know if I'm going to do one yet for January, but I kind of want to do one because I just think that'd be cool. What will it be for? I don't know yet. That's why I'm saying, I'm just letting you guys know now, I am planning something Rumble related for January. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in to the podcast. Thank you all for tuning in for the whole year. I don't know how many more videos we're going to be dropping over December. Bear in mind, Christmas is going to be an absolute dead zone. And probably the first couple weeks of January, depending on when things get to me and when I'm actually ready to upload an episode. Because you might see something as early as like the first couple days of January. You might see it before Christmas. I don't know yet. Obviously, the end of your awards show coming out, I'm thinking towards the beginning of January, very early on, because I can get that done myself. But I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to finish off this podcast. Thank you all for making 2022 such a brilliant year for CEW and for the CEW network. And I will see you all whenever I see you.